What's up, guys and gals? My name is Joy, and today we're going to take a look at Metal Gear Solid, not 5, the Phantom Pain, sorry, Metal Gear Survive, and how Konami fucked that up. But we're also going to take a look at Konami's track record here, because they've killed, in my opinion, a game that I used to love a long time ago, and this is why I can't really feel sorry for the Metal Gear fans. And if you bought Metal Gear 5 Phantom Pain, you already knew that that game was average at best. And that Metal Gear Survive, to me, like, I didn't go out and buy this game. Now, this video is old. I was going to upload something for Metal Gear Survive, whether you should buy it or not, my thoughts on it. But I didn't buy the game, so there's my thoughts. Obviously, if I didn't buy the game ever, I wasn't excited for the game ever, it wasn't on my radar, that tells you that Konami failed. And they did fail. When the game came out, it got bad reviews across the board. Everybody was talking about it. No one's talking about it now. But I figured I'd go ahead and talk about it since I'm a little late here and whatnot. But I'm not going to actually primarily focus on Metal Gear today. I'm going to talk about another Konami franchise that I used to love. A franchise I grew up with in the early 2000s. Kind of like light up shoes and yo-yos. Ah, man, where do we begin with this one? So, Pokemon was on the rise in Japan. Pokemon was a huge success commercially. Also here in the States, it was very successful. The TV show was really successful. This is before 4Kids TV took over and chopped everything up and ruined everything of once great cartoons. Same for WB and all that shit, all that corporate crap. We're not getting into that. Anyways, another Japan company by the name of Konami decided to rival that of Pokemon and make, or try to rival Pokemon and make their own card game. And this card game was known as Yu-Gi-Oh! So, back when I was growing up, there were two card games mainly played between the guys that played card games. There was Magic the Gathering, the king of card games. There was Pokemon, which was kind of still being introduced and trying to take off with video games and whatnot. I remember the video games being more successful, I think, more so than the card game. And then there was, you guessed it, Yu-Gi-Oh!, which actually, for a while, was holding its own against Magic. It was very popular in the early 2000s, at least when I played. So what happened to this great franchise that Konami killed? Before Metal Gear, what happened to it? I'm going to take you back to memory lane here. The original Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime was really good. It revolved around ancient Egypt and pharaohs, and it was very mystique and mysterious, which a lot of people, obviously, that's why Assassin's Creed Origins is so popular today for Ubisoft, because people like that mystique behind ancient Egypt. It's something that we've learned since, being a young lad or lass. The mythology behind it, it's part of history, and it's just an intriguing part of history. It's one of the few civilizations that's wonders still exist today, the Great Pyramids, the treasures of King Tut, all that awesomeness that lies behind Egypt and the land of the pharaohs. The pharaohs, just saying the pharaohs sounds so cool when it comes off the tongue. So Konami had a good thing going with Yu-Gi-Oh! The main anime was a success, and the card game was taking off and doing quite well. Attendance in tournaments was high. Everything was going good. Casual players and pros alike were having a good time. People casually played the game, having fun, playing how they want to play. And then Konami did something that killed it all. They ended the main anime series. They introduced GX and motorcycles and all that other bullshit, pendulums and all that crap. And then they took away the casual fun of the game by doing so. So then they added those broken pendulum cards in the later franchises into your decks. And pendulums are broken. They still are, even if they've been nerfed. Decks like Necros and Arrow Mages and all that, Burning Abyss, all that is still there, Cosmos, etc. And I've actually just learned pendulums, right? I just learned those recently, and they're not bad. They're actually really cool. They're not as broken as they used to be, but they still can be menacing when they want to. So Yu-Gi-Oh fell off after, I would say, after the original show. I think a lot of people quit tuning in. They felt betrayed. They felt like the game wasn't progressing in a way direction they wanted. And sure, some tournaments are still very popular in attendance. I think they get like 1,000 people now, but nowhere near as many as they did. And I'm actually watching a YouTube video where the guy is basically going over the attendance numbers, which I might just link his channel below, and you guys can go check that out. He's got some dislikes, but those are salty fucking fanboys when it comes to the game. So unless you're a pro player of Yu-Gi-Oh, I think if you're a casual player to the game trying to come back to the game, you still could. It takes a little bit more researching to do though now. You need to know what decks are the meta and what you should be focusing on. It's not unobtainable information. It's very easy to find if you know where to look. The problem is the game any fun? Is it fun anymore? Is the card game itself fun, or has it ran its course? And I think the answer is the latter, right? I think it's ran its course. Unless you're a competitive player attending those tournaments, there's no point to playing the game anymore. Unfortunately, cards like Exodia and Blue Eyes are, I mean, they can be used in decks with cards that work good with them for support and whatever. But if you're not running those cards, you're just playing casually with your buddies. You might as well just play like Legacy of the Duelist or something. Now, so this weekend I decided to go back to memory lane. I decided to pick up Yu-Gi-Oh again. Now, obviously, I don't have my cards anymore, and I wanted to rebuild my old deck with cards and whatever that I used to have. The problem is again, I'm not going to be attending tournaments, and for the value of the cards that were in my old deck, I could get a competitive deck for cheaper. So there's that. That's the problem with the game. Some of the cards are really expensive. The cards you might want might not be top end cards anymore, and they are not worth picking up or purchasing, so they go on the back burner until prices drop. What else? There's a chance you could buy cards from somebody and they could be fake too. There's always that choice, that potential thing that could happen. But the point I'm trying to make here, ladies and gentlemen, is that this game or this franchise was killed by Konami. It effectively was. Some people might still be in denial and say, no, it's fine. And I have the mobile game. I have Legacy of the Duelist. I don't have Yugioh Pro because I don't like playing it online. I've always liked Yu-Gi-Oh for the story of the original anime, and I don't mind a cooperative play like like tag team duels. I think is a good game. From what I've heard, World Championship. I don't mind if there's multiplayer as long as there's repercussions if you rage quit or something like that. So if Konami made a good multiplayer Yu-Gi-Oh game for the casual player base and just the fan base in general, not just the casuals, but if they made something like Legacy of the Duelist, but they made it to where the online wouldn't die in a week, to where the online, where the game was getting constantly updated, the competitive part of the game was getting updated all the time. Not this mobile crap that, mobile games already pay to win right there. There's no contest or argument you could throw at me that doesn't say pay to win. If you play a mobile game free to play, you're only hurting yourself. And I have the mobile game. I've been playing it free, and I have to grind and grind and grind. So much so that I'd rather go play fucking World of Warcraft, which I don't want to play. So I'm not loading up the mobile game. I've gone back to the Game Boy Advance game. I think I'm playing the Sacred Cards right now. I might get a PS2 and get Duelist of Roses. I don't know. I've been talking about that for a while. But that's, again, something that might come later down the line. The point I'm trying to make is this was a franchise at one point that used to be the king of games. It used to be one of the king of games franchises, I would say, in terms of all the card games out there. Pokemon, Magic, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Used to almost rival Magic in terms of its popularity, if not more so. And then Konami fucked up, dropped the ball, killed the franchise, and now all we have is competitive. And that's a real shame. Because if you're not competing in a competitive tournament of some sort for Yu-Gi-Oh!, there's no reason to own the cards anymore. Which is, again, a damn shame. The video games also aren't very good now. They've aged. Some of them have aged really poorly. Some of them not. But like Legacy of the Duelist is a great game for the PS4. However, Konami dropped the ball in several areas and just like abandoned it like that. They don't update the game. They don't do anything with the game. Metal Gear Survive, another franchise, completely dead. In my opinion, Metal Gear's been dead for a while, though this isn't new. So Konami's in a lot of trouble, I think. I think if they want to save their dying company and their dying franchises, they need to revision themselves, and they need to either fix what they broke or try again. That's a shame, because that used to be a game that I grew up with, except it wasn't a video game, it was a card game that I grew up with. I played the video games later. And Duelist of Roses was one of the hardest video games I think I've ever played. I like Sacred Cards, even though it kind of didn't follow traditional Yu-Gi-Oh format. Legacy of the Duelist I've been playing a lot. I played it this weekend, actually. I played it with a woman I know, and we had a lot of fun playing it. She actually kicked my ass, too, which is surprising, because I used to be really good at the game. But not as good as her. I got fucking throttled by her this weekend, so it's alright. I kicked her ass later with a Red Eyes deck. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make here, guys, is that it's not impossible to get into Yu-Gi-Oh with the new shit. The problem is again, if you're not competing, there's no point buying the cards. And I think that's where the once king of a franchise drops so low, and we're seeing it again with the Metal Gear franchise, and it's just going down the tubes for Konami. I really hope another Yu-Gi-Oh game comes out for the PS4 and Xbox One. There's more animations, there's better online, where like there are tournaments being held. If you rage quit, you still lose the duel even if you rage quit. There's punishments if you rage quit. A good competitive, fair online system for a Yu-Gi-Oh game on the console, as well as a single player element as well for those who want to play offline, like Legacy of the Duelist has. Better soundtrack, better card animations, and you've got a good game. You've got a great game. All the cards from Legacy and more, and you've got a great game. All you have to do is update it. But it's like Konami has some of the best franchises in the world, and they're fucking dropping the ball. They're dropping the ball probably as hard as fucking Sega did with Sonic right now. They are completely dropping it. And it's a shame, because this used to be a company that I would say was at the top of their peak back in early 2000s. They were one of the best companies, I think, for a franchise at that time. They were on their way to success, and they've only gone downhill since then. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but Konami, you need to get your shit together. So that's the sad reality of video games and just gaming in general. Card games too. Card games suffer the same fate as video games. They go to die somewhere, which is a shame, because Yu-Gi-Oh, at least the ancient Egyptian setting in the original anime, was the reason it was successful. Once you moved away from that, the game became like everything else, right? And sure, I'm sure kids growing up today, they're totally going out and buying Yu-Gi-Oh cards. No, they're not. The only people still playing Yu-Gi-Oh are the die-hard fans and competitive players. Which, honestly, from what I hear, even the tournament rewards are not that great. I think you get like one ultimate rare card sometimes, depending on the tournament. Sometimes you might get deck sleeves, or you're not even giving, like, I see Twitch streamers give away PS4s and Switches and all that stuff in giveaways they do. And yet Konami's still giving you the basic card. Don't get me wrong, for a Yu-Gi-Oh competitive player, the card does help. But they could up the stakes. They could really make it a match worth trying to win. And instead, they don't. Like, so an example, they could give you the rare card and then maybe throw in a PS4 on top of that. Or, something to incentivize you to want to win other than just the card. I know the card for some competitive people is enough, but it would still be really nice of them to do something for their fan base that's still sticking around. And It's like they don't fucking care anymore. They've lost all motivation and will to care. They're only doing regionals still because, again, the competitive players are the ones that are still interested, that are still buying decks that are like, I was looking at a deck today, right? $600 deck for everything in the deck. Now, to some people, that might seem like a lot. To a competitive player, that's not, right? Because $600 for that deck, as long as it's not on the fucking ban list. And that's the other issue with Yu-Gi-Oh! There is a ban list. So if that deck wins the finals this year, those cards are going on the ban list next year. Whoop-de-doo. So any chance of you wanting to play your buddies with that in a fair fight duel next year is going out the window anyways, because they'll be on the ban list. That's the other issue. The ban list, some of the cards on the ban list for Yu-Gi-Oh! Today, when you look at them, make no fucking sense. I'm sorry, some people might say Chaos Dragon Envoy of the End is broken as fuck. Give me a fucking break. There's way more broken cards in the game than that card. They do exist now, obviously, because we're like 10 years in the future. And then there are cards on the ban list too that also make no sense. I'm not saying Chaos Envoy of the End doesn't make sense. He kind of deserves it a little bit. I still don't think so, because obviously there's way far worse now, but whatever, okay. Moving forward, there are cards on the list, though, that make no fucking sense, like Monster Reborn or Pot of Greed, and yet we have Pot of Desires and Graceful Charity. Oh, not, I think Graceful Charity's banned, too. So, certain draw cards have been completely restricted to the ban list, certain monsters restricted to the ban list, and some of them make sense, and then you look at some of them and you're like, why the fuck is that there? Like, okay, let me give you an example for the Necros deck, okay? Sheroot. You guys remember Sheroot? Yeah, he's like a 3-star monster with a really nice ability. Yeah, he's on the ban list. But guess what? I just saw a fucking match right now this year. No joke. I have it saved in my browser and I have the deck too. Legit. Same shit as Necros and Sheroot and everything. And the guy wiped out his opponent in one turn. It was a one turn kill type of deck. OTK. So there were far worse things than Necros. And it's like Konami's banning, you know, the medium of the pack. It's like they're trying to kill off the casual player base on purpose. I don't know why, because that means less money for them. I mean, if that's what they want to do as a company, they're going backwards and not forwards. So the point I'm trying to make here, gentlemen and ladies, if you play Yu-Gi-Oh, is that, again, if you're not in the competitive scene and you're not keeping up to date with the cards, or if you're not willing to shell out $600 for a deck that could be on the ban list in less than a year, then you might as well not even bother playing the game. You might as well stick to the video game versions or adaptations, play those, sell your cards, and make some profit. Because right now, the only way I see the game is going down. I don't see it going up at all. Just because it's so expensive to get into. If you want to compete, it's not going to last you long. It lasts maybe as long as a new car in terms of longevity, because a new car comes out every year. And, you know, 2016 Honda Civic, 2017 Honda, you know, it's the same shit as a dealership. New cards come out. Tournament wins instantly means the deck that won is going on the ban list. No ifs, ands, or buts. So instead of rewarding the players, it's like Konami punishes not only the competitive scene, but they punish the creativity and the casual players at the same time. Because once that ban list comes out, let's say you're not competing. Let's just say you're a casual player that wants to try those cards. But guess what? Konami banned them. So if you want to have even a competitive duel with your buddies with that deck, or let's say you guys want to bet $5 to play a match or whatever, you put in $5 in the pot. Well, your buddy might point out, well, those cards are banned. You can't use those. If he plays by the rules, right? Like, if he's not willing to use banned cards, you're fucked. You can't play them. Same for, you know, just your local competitive match at your local game store. Can't play it either. So, the franchise that was really successful died, and then once again for Konami, it happened again with Metal Gear. That's my rant on Yu-Gi-Oh! Having played Legacy of the Duelist this weekend with that special someone, it was a lot of fun. We had a great time. We've been watching the anime, the original anime, and she likes it. The problem is that I don't want to take her to GX. I don't want to take her to 5Ds. I don't want to take her to Zexal or Art V. You know why? Because they all fucking blow. That's why. I don't want to take her to any of those. To me, Konami needs to revert back to what the game used to be. Or perish. That's ultimately what's happening. I'll leave a link below so you guys can enjoy the regional attendance for 2013 to 14 all the way up until recently. The attendance at events has dropped massively. Not by a lot, but it seems to be dipping every other year. And that's because, again, it's too expensive to compete every year because you have to buy a new deck every year. And unless you're willing to dish out $600 for that deck, don't waste your time. Some decks are, $300, $200, but if you want a top tier deck that's going to win you matches, $600 or more, goodbye. You know what I can do with that now? Like, with the way technology has advanced, I can get a Switch and a PS4 and an Xbox One. I could get a new PC in half that time with that much money. Why in the fuck would I waste it on Yu-Gi-Oh! Championships at that point? And until Konami gives an incentive, there's no answer for that one. New and improved cards. One card at a final championship that's been never printed before until the year after doesn't make that much of a difference if the guy that won it, his entire deck is on the ban list anyways. Doesn't fucking matter. So Konami needs to revert the game back if they want to save that franchise. They need to do the same for Metal Gear. That's my opinion. Anyways, guys, my name is Enjoy. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you still play, I guess, Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't think any casual player in the world still plays that game. Unless it's the games themselves, like on the console or on your Game Boy or something. Because the card game's dead, dude. It's not looking good. And unless Konami fixes the casual market for the game, it's a shame. That game used to be so good. It used to be one of my favorite games of all time. And it has fucking fallen so low from the grace it once had. It's unreal. Anyways, my name's Enjoy, guys. Take care. Have a good one. I will catch you all next time. There will be more videos. I don't want to... I could cover Sea of Thieves and how Microsoft completely failed with that. But honestly, if anyone was excited for that game, just put a retard stamp on your head. We already knew that shit was going to fail. But hey, it's not like Black Flag existed or, whatever. So, what do I, that game, maybe that game will succeed. Oh, no, it won't. It's already getting bad reviews. But, moving forward, yeah, so, Sea of Thieves, if you're looking to buy that, don't pick that up, okay? I didn't buy the game, I'm just telling you this from the reviews I've seen. It's already looking like a fucking terrible, terrible game. Switch, I haven't been keeping up with Switch news. However, I do have an idea for Konami. While we're still talking about them real quick. Please make a Yu-Gi-Oh! Game on the Switch that's actually decent, and I'll pick it up and I'll buy it. But don't make it pay to win. Don't make it like your crappy mobile game or Wygo Pro. You can have online, fine, but make it a good Yu-Gi-Oh! Game. And then people will come back to Yu-Gi-Oh! If you make it a shitty adaptation or a shitty money scheming idea, people won't come back. Okay? There's my advice for you, Konami. I still like Yu-Gi-Oh! I still want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! But I have no incentive to play Yu-Gi-Oh! With the state it's in, or the shitfest that it's in right now, I should say. And the games are no better. The games have not been doing well in recent years. It's sad that I have an emulator ROM, whatever, on my PC for a Game Boy Advance Yu-Gi-Oh! Game, because the games back in the day were actually better than the current games now. You see what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about. I could probably download a ROM for some other games too if you guys want to see them. I'll download it and I'll play them. But yeah, Konami has some options. They do. Nintendo Switch is a thing. Please make a Yu-Gi-Oh! Game on it that doesn't suck and that has a lot of cards and has animations and isn't half-assed, has good music and a good storyline and some good cards, lots of cards. And then you could release DLC for it with maybe new story arcs and whatever for like GX and stuff if you want to do that. I don't think you should, considering you've already put out Legacy. But the point is, if you make a good Yu-Gi-Oh game, I'll pick it up, I'll buy it, I'll play it, I'll buy DLC for it. If you don't, well, then keep letting the franchise go the way of Metal Gear and to the dark, dark abyss, because that's where it belongs. So, let me know in the comments your thoughts. Are you still playing, or have you quit? I guarantee I'm going to see a lot of comments that have said, I don't play the game anymore. And that's a good thing. It's a sad thing, but it's a good thing, because that's the only way Konami will wake up and realize they fucked up. Same for the Metal Gear fans. Do you still play Metal Gear Solid 5? Or any Metal Gear at all? Do you play any Metal Gear? I don't. I have Metal Gear Solid 5. It's sitting in my library on my console because I won't download it. That's how irrelevant that game is. So, with that said, mine has been Joy, guys. Have a good one again. I know I've ended this like 5 times. I apologize. But catch you all maybe this weekend. We'll do a video this weekend. Today's Monday, so yeah, we'll do one on the 30th, which is Friday. Take care, guys.